Hey grade 12s, welcome back to EduRise Empowerment Hub. I am Mr. BSc and today we're focusing on paper 1 of your life sciences final examination. If you're new here, hit that like button, subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of our powerful exam preparational videos. So everything we're about to share today comes straight from the DBE exam guidelines. So if you do follow this video, you'll be preparing for the right content at the right level of depth, not studying too much information and not studying too little information. So let us look at what is expected of you clearly. So the first part of the video is just the overview, basically understanding the exam structure as per DBE guidelines. So your paper is 2.5 hours long with 150 marks and split into 2 sections. Section A is 50 marks, which are your short structured questions, multiple choice matching, definitions, etc. Then section B are 250 marks, larger structured questions, each made up of sub-questions and diagrams as well. There is no essay question, that stopped a long time ago. So everything is based on application and understanding, basically, right? So the topics in paper 1 are basically, paper 1 covers physiology and response, the response side of life sciences. So it's basically human reproduction in vertebrates, responding to the environment, humans and plants, homeostasis in humans. That's basically everything that is covered in paper 1. So let's go through each one and highlight what examiners expect and where learners usually get confused. Want to clear up a lot of confusion in these topics. So, reproduction in vertebrates. So this is basically how different vertebrate groups, which are fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds and mammals, how they reproduce. You should be able to compare external versus internal fertilization, ovipary, ovovivipary, as well as vivipary, adaptations that improve fertilization success and survival of offspring as well. That's it. So a lot of confusion is that learners will list examples without linking the purpose, right, when studying or even in the paper. So basically what I'm trying to say here is that you guys don't explain how the adaptation helps with survival. So for example, how birds have a hard-shelled egg to prevent water loss, and then this allows development on land. That is basically how you should go about something like this, né? And then we have human reproduction. So this is the largest part of paper 1, so you should expect a lot of questions on it. So you should know a lot of structures and functions on human reproduction, guys. Very, very important structures and functions. So the male reproductive system, the testes, the epididymis, vas deferens or the sperm duct, seminal vesicle, prostate glands, urethra and the penis. Then the female reproductive system, ovaries, fallopian tubes, uterus, cervix and the vagina. You should learn the labels and diagrams correctly and describe what each part does. You should know what each part does. Don't just know how to label it. Know what they do. Know the functions. And then we also have gametogenesis, which are spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Spermatogenesis, it occurs in the testes and it produces 4 haploid sperm. The process is also in the exam guidelines. You should look at that as well. Then we have oogenesis. It occurs in the ovaries and it produces 1 haploid ovum plus polar bodies. Common confusion. Learners like to think that meiosis is equal to fertilization. No. So meiosis forms gametes before fertilization, and fertilization restores the diploid number. Nah? Please guys, don't get confused. Please guys, please don't get confused. Then we have the menstrual and ovarian cycle. So you should know the phases: the menstruation, follicular phase, ovulation, and the luteal phase. You should know the hormones responsible for these things, which are FSH. FSH is responsible for stimulating the follicle development. It's in the name, follicle stimulating hormone. It's in the name, guys. It stimulates follicle development. Then we have the luteinizing hormone, LH, which triggers ovulation. We have estrogen, which repairs the uterine lining. Then we have progesterone, which maintains the lining after ovulation. Yeah, so you should know those hormones and their functions. Please, guys, please don't confuse the hormones. Also, while I'm saying these things, you guys should be taking notes inside your head, or like physical notes on your paper, if you don't know these things. If you do know them, then you don't have to take notes, but everything that I say and you don't know, you should take note of it. So the common confusions that learners like to make is saying that FSH causes ovulation. No, it does not. It's LH that triggers ovulation. The luteinizing hormone triggers ovulation. FSH stimulates follicle development. It's in the name, follicle stimulating hormone. Nah? Then you should know fertilization and pregnancy, where it occurs. You should know implantation of the embryo, right? Structure and functions of this placenta, the umbilical cord, and the amniotic fluid. The roles of estrogen and progesterone during pregnancy. A tip that I could give you guys is, in the exam, questions often ask like this: explain the effect of hormone X. Explain the effect if hormone X is not secreted. So you should understand each hormone's role and the consequence of its absence. All of them. That is why it is important to know the function, so that you know that when it's absent, then you just say that, for example, follicle stimulating hormone, the follicle won't be stimulated, something like that. So you should know each hormone's role and the consequence of its absence. Then we have responding to the environment. We're going to start with humans, which is the nervous system, the central nervous system, the CNS, which is the brain and spinal cord. CNS consists of the brain and spinal cord. Then we have the peripheral nervous system, the PNS, which are the nerves connecting the CNS to the body. Then we have the reflex arc, which are the receptor, the sensory neuron, interneuron, motor neuron, as well as the effector. Should know the structure of the neurons and the direction of the impulses. Please, guys, you should know the structure of the neurons and the direction of the impulses. Next, also know the functions of the different parts, the dendrite, the axons, everything, all of those things. Common confusion is mixing up the sensory and motor neurons, where you say the sensory neurons carry impulses to the CNS and the motor neurons carry impulses away from the CNS. The sensory neurons carries impulses to the central nervous system, and the motor neurons carry impulses away from the CNS. Next, we have the brain. Guys, the brain structure and functions, very, very, very important. We have the cerebrum. The cerebrum is responsible for higher functions, thinking, memory, and voluntary actions. Then we have the cerebellum, which coordinates and balances. The cerebellum is responsible for coordination and balance. We have the medulla oblongata, which controls the heartbeat, breathing, as well as reflex action. Next, we have the eye. You should know the structure as well as the function of all the parts. the cornea, the lens, the iris, the retina, the pupil, as well as the optic nerve. You should know accommodation, how the lens changes for near and far objects. Pupillary reflex. You should know the pupillary reflex, as well as vision defects, short-sightedness, long-sightedness, astigmatism, as well as cataracts. Yeah? Then you should know the ear, the structure, which is the outer, middle, and inner ear. Listen here, guys. So the ear is responsible for hearing and balance. So in hearing, you should know the role of the ossicles, the oval window, as well as the cochlea. Balance, semicircular canals and their function. That is balance. Balance is coordinated by semicircular canals, and yeah, should know the functions as well. Should know hearing loss as well as corrections, hearing aids and cochlear implants. Nah? Guys, please. So you shouldn't confuse the cochlea, which is responsible for hearing, and the semicircular canals, which are responsible for balance. So the cochlea is responsible for hearing, semicircular canals are responsible for balance. Nah? Right. Next, responding to the environment, plants. Nah? You should know plant hormones, the auxins, the gibberellins, abscisic acid as well, tropisms, phototropism, and geotropism. Understand how hormones distribute. Understand how hormone distribution causes bending. For example, in phototropism, auxins move to the shaded size, causing the cells to elongate, and then the stem bends towards the light. So the auxins don't move to the light. The auxins don't bend. The auxins don't move to the light, and then the stem bends towards the light. No, it doesn't work like that. The auxins move away from the light to the shaded side, which causes the cells to elongate, and then the stem bends towards the light. Nah? Please, guys, take note of that. Right. Then we have homeostasis in humans. So homeostasis is maintaining an internal constant environment. Nah? The processes you should know: blood glucose regulation, insulin and glucagon from the pancreas, which is negative feedback, very, very important. Water balance, the role of ADH and the nephron in osmoregulation. Temperature regulation, which is the skin responses, vasodilation, vasoconstriction, sweating, and shivering. Understand negative feedback. When a change triggers a response that reverses the change to maintain a balance, you should understand negative feedback. Right. Also, don't confuse negative feedback. Don't say negative feedback switches the gland off. No, it does not. It only stabilizes the condition. It does not switch the gland off. It stabilizes the condition. So, for example, mixing ADH with adrenaline. So the ADH controls water reabsorption. Then adrenaline prepares the body for action. Nah? Please remember those things. Then you should know disorders: diabetes mellitus, which is the insulin deficiency; diabetes insipidus, which is the ADH deficiency. Then goiter, which is lack of iodine, affecting the thyroid. Right. So good luck, guys, for the paper. I have a few strategies and tips that I could give you guys. Please, guys, study directly from the exam guidelines. Not everything in your textbook is examinable. Only what is in the exam guidelines is examinable. Then create mind maps and summary tables for hormones, organs, and feedback loops. It's going to help very much. Also, practice your timing. Remember, 150 marks is equal to 150 minutes. 1 mark per minute. Don't stay too long on one question. Just skip it. If you don't know it, skip it and come back later to it. Also, use correct biological terminology. So guys, that is your complete guide to life sciences paper 1. If you understand these sections and avoid common confusions, you will be ready for anything the examiner can ask. So keep your study focus visual and conceptual. Remember, you're not just learning facts, you're learning how life works. I am Mr. Percy and this is EduRise Empowerment Hub. Stay confident, stay consistent, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Good luck with the paper. We are wishing you guys all the best.